with that, let's start recording. So Karan, thank you very much for joining me today, and congratulations on scoring a 740.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So Karan, you started preparing sometime in August, right? So how did you go about your journey? And you took the exam in November of this year. So let's talk about, so I was like 3.5 months is what you prepared for?
Right.
Okay. So let's talk about how you went about preparing. How did you go from, what was your starting score? Did you take a mock test?
Yes, I gave my initial mock test and I scored a 540.
A 540, okay. And what was the split?
Yeah, my split was quant I don't remember, it was over 40, but my verbal score was 19.
Okay.
That was screwed. I mean, that was the first time I realized that I really need to study hard or practice hard enough to get to such a level that helps me.
So when you saw that score, so first of all, did you expect a score so low?
No. I was at least expecting a 620, 630 at least. I thought this at least should be my level, and then probably I'll learn more and probably practice more to get to 700. This was my initial thing.
So your initial target was 700. You thought you'll start at a 620, 630.
Within a month, I thought I'll prepare hard and I'll reach to 700 level, and then I'll need a couple of more months probably to get to a 750 plus level. This is my approach.
That was your thought. How did you think about that? You're going to start at a 620. Why were you under that impression?
Yeah, I saw an average score, which generally, I mean, people get. So average score was, I guess, 560 or something, which mostly, people, Indians especially.
That's the median starting score, yes.
Starting score. So I thought I must be over or above average. So I thought this should be my score where I should land up, which is the minimum possible score I'll get. But then it was a harsh reality that I saw that my score is 540. But then yes, I mean that was an eye opener, and then I started taking it very, very seriously.
Okay. So you got to a 540. You said. So what was the next thing that you did?
So I started with looking at options and how do I study, how do I begin or plan my study, and what are the documents I should refer, what is the textbook I should refer. So wherever I read online, so the first thing everyone mentioned was the official GMAT books. So I ordered all 4 GMAT books. All 3 books. One is the main guide, and then verbal and one part. So I started doing that. The one good thing is I didn't follow it through a book. I did it all online through their website.
Okay.
So I started preparing online only. I started solving questions online only, and I didn't use much of paper and all. And then with time I started knowing what is the level of questions. Since the level in the official guide is start from the beginning and then goes on increasing the level till the end. So I thought, let me see and stop at a level where I know that this is my level, and of course that my number of incorrect answers are increasing, or I'm taking much more time than the beginning. So I started looking for those kind of stoppage areas. So
okay. So when you said let me stop at that level, what did you do when you reached a certain question number and said, okay, I'm not going to solve questions beyond that because I think they're too difficult? Is that what you did?
Yes. My level is not yet reached that. Maybe I am not confident about that part as of now. I need to practice more and know more, and then probably look at these questions. So what I did was, after that I started on my own through various online document materials. I took a lot of material from one of my friends. He gave me Veritas material, he gave me Magoosh material, and all those materials. So I started studying from those Manhattan, their basic guides and all. I studied those. I solved their exercises at the back. Tried to understand their approaches. But in the end, I mean, I realized that this is all theoretical until and unless it applies to you. So so with time, I did all these things, and still my score didn't improve much.
Okay.
So I was still at a lower. I gave another mock after 25 days of preparation, and although it improved, it was 610 that time. So I was.
You were hoping to get to 700 after a month, by the way, right?
No, yeah, correct. It was 610. I was hoping, that I will at least reach 650. But again, I use 610. I thought of taking some kind of coaching after that. I thought I need some coaching, personal training on verbal parts, especially. Quant was always fine. I think I was strong since beginning. 46, 47
Mhm.
score in quant was okay for me. I mean, easy for me since the beginning. Then I studied properly and spent a little extra time on quant. But I
Mhm.
was pretty sure that I don't need that much time. So every day I divided my time into two parts. So first half English, second half you know quant. So
Quant.
first 3 hours in first half of day and 3 hours in later half of the day. So I studied more than an average person would probably study along with the job. I left
Mhm.
my job that time to study for GMAT, and then I was along with that handling my mother's business also. So that
Okay.
is how I studied. And then I mean, the second part of the 3 hour was mostly one of the mocks, which took 1.5 hour, and for the quant particularly.
Mhm.
And then some more time, half an hour or so, to study a particular topic,
Okay.
wherein I saw I am not strong enough, or I need
Mhm.
some more help. So I read your book from the GMAT club, by the way, your compilation
Mhm.
of various topics. So I read
Okay.
solved questions from there,
Mhm.
and built that level. And then later on, I reached to a 48, 49 level,
Mhm.
and in the end, I got 50 also in one of the books.
Mhm.
This was my quant journey. Then English was probably verbal was a part wherein I had to put more efforts. So I started topic by topic and completed uh, marathon material, and one more Veritas, a few tests from Veritas.
Mhm.
And then again, I was seeing that my improvement is there, but my score is still fluctuating. So if you see my one test was around 30 score. Second test I'll get 24. Third again I'll get 28. Again
Mhm.
fluctuations like that, and I never got beyond 32,
Mhm.
33. So I gave 4 or 5 tests, and
Mock
then
test.
realized that I need, yes, I need some more help in that, in it. And probably maybe reading will help me. I started reading some a little material, uh, which was mostly online only. So I started reading a few articles from New York Times,
Mhm.
and a couple of more places, and Economic Times as well. Just to know, because since I'm interested in business and all, I started reading that portion as well. So then with some time, my improvement was again not that much. So I
Mhm.
was fluctuating. I thought of taking GMAT, uh, e-GMAT classes. So
Mhm.
one of my seniors, she got a 750.
Mhm.
She's my college senior, and she
Mhm.
now studies in Fuqua School of Business
Fuck.
Management,
Okay. Yeah.
Duke University.
Mhm.
And she, I spoke to her, how did you manage to get 750 and all? My English is pretty screwed, and I need help in verbal. And
Mhm.
then she referred, and she told me that you take a verbal course from e-GMAT, that will make you a little organized in this
Mhm.
entire process of solving a question. You will understand a question first, and then probably you'll look at, yes, the steps as you practice along with their according to their process. So I thought a lot, but then I mean, within a couple of days, I got GMAT verbal course,
Mhm.
and then I gradually worked. Initially, it didn't work for a couple of days, since it was beginning, and I was
Mhm.
not getting that much impact. So I always used to solve tests within a couple of days. So 3 days, I used to solve one test each. So that is the method, just to check myself where I have reached and all.
Mhm.
So next 2 weeks also, there was not much improvement. But
Mhm.
yes, I was learning stuff. I was seeing through all the basic sections of CR, and
Mhm.
uh, uh, I mean, sentence correction part. I'm going through it
Mhm.
one to understand the entire process.
Mhm.
And then in the end, we had Scholaranium, I mean, which was amazing tool to practice verbal. So uh, that was what, when I made customized tests according to how much time I had,
Mhm.
smaller tests according to my uh,
Mhm.
testing ability, maybe similar kind of questions at once, and
Mhm.
then I mixed up different questions, different types of questions, and gave multiple tests to that. That is how I built my understanding. CR particularly is all practice, I guess. Practice work one, it will improve. the reading speed that you have. Second
Mhm.
is it will build your thought process according to the type of question it is. So once
Mhm.
you do probably 500 questions, you will realize that the questions are repetitive.
Mhm. Karan, you there?
Yes, hello.
Yeah, yeah.
Am I audible?
You're perfectly audible. Yes.
Okay. So, so I was saying, once you do a certain amount of questions, you
Mm.
actually get to know the entire process of thinking. So,
Yes.
how do such questions usually come out to be?
Mm.
If you read a particular passage, I used to think about what questions can they ask on this,
Mm.
and usually I got the answer within my mind. I mean, approximate
So did
answer
you
that
did you do
this.
pre-thinking then?
Yes, I did pre-think. That is what I learned in CR. The best part is pre-thinking in CR. I think uh, this all comes from practice only. So once you get to know that this is a particular passage in this direction it goes, it's all repetitive after some time.
It is
That's
all
what I
repetitive. Yes. I mean, it's logical, but
logical.
but
Yes,
essentially the process becomes repetitive, and then if you have a bit logical thought process, it becomes
yeah,
fairly simple.
correct. So you have to build that logic first, which I thought was built after I went through all these sections and practiced on in Scholaranium and also on GMAT Club.
Mhm. So tell me, you read a bunch of books. You from Manhattan. You actually had Magoosh's course as well. So what
Yeah.
was difference? What was the difference that you felt with the GMAT verbal course versus going through all of those other things?
Okay. So one is the e-GMAT course was quite interactive. So uh, when you see a video, a text coming in front, and also hear an audio, you get a more probably the impact of that particular video is more audio visual is more than any other reading any other book.
Mm-hmm.
One is this. Second is the structure of the entire course at e-GMAT, which I thought is one of the best as compared to other books, because books are a typical medium wherein you create something from the scratch from the beginning, and then you slowly get to that level. But in this interactive platform, you do something, you practice that, you do something, you practice that, you do something again, you practice that, and this is how you build it stronger with time. And that too on the computer, which is best since your test is on computer.
Mm-hmm.
So this is
Okay.
this is probably the main difference I thought.
Okay. What
And
about the methods? The fact
method,
that you have the meaning-based approach versus and pre-thinking.
correct. So in particularly sentence correction, if I talk about that, uh, when you know that only certain types of error exist in a particular sentence,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it strikes your mind pretty quickly. So initially, when I used to solve any question, it was more of a gut feeling that I feel this is correct since I've read grammar in my previous classes and I know this should be correct. But that was not the case. So what this course taught me is understand the exact meaning of the sentence. When you understand a meaning, you have that feeling that something is wrong. Once that feeling comes, and all those 6 7 things pops up in your mind
Mm-hmm.
when you do these questions multiple times, then you can utilize that approach, and you can strike at that particular uh, note. You
Mm-hmm.
start with subject to verb agreement, is it there or not, and then you start with pronoun agreement. All these things are there. With time, I mean, I think it was pretty easy. Then I started doing it quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Earlier I took a lot of time. I think sentence correction should be done in 1 minute per question, but I used to take approximately 1.5 and more than that actually.
Okay. Okay.
So
So were
then
you
with
able to reduce the time then with
correct.
practice? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So one good thing is I gave a lot of mocks.
Mm.
A lot of mocks means I finished all the mocks in GMAT Club, and then I did all the customized test from the official book
Okay.
online. So I made customized tests of
Mm-hmm.
41 questions only, and solved it every time according to as if that's a original test, and
Okay.
got my marks, and then used to see the correct answers. This is how
Okay.
I think it's all practice that mattered that time, and plus the
Okay.
structured approach that I found from this course.
Okay. So, um, was this the first online course that you ever took?
I think yes. I have never taken an online course. Uh,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, what do you think about learning online now?
it's a pretty good medium. I think, yeah, I'm sorry to mention that, but I mean, I forget that. I did a course on Coursera earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Post that, this is my second course, which is a bit difficult than that, different than that particular.
So
Coursera.
what's the difference between Coursera and this course?
So Coursera is actually more of an experience, that people give you that experience, their personal experience. So, suppose a business leader is teaching you a particular topic, that
Mm-hmm.
right? So he's telling you your experience, that this is a particular segment, this is how it goes, this is the strategy, this is the various types of strategies in particular. So, but here e-GMAT, you have simple task is to solve the question in limited amount of time, and that too correctly.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a structured approach that you've made, wherein in that case you have to think a lot and make strategy accordingly. I mean, there's different due to topics, not
Yeah, the
in
problem that you're solving is different, essentially.
correct. So that's why I
Yes.
think otherwise online courses, my now inclination towards the online courses is definitely increased since I've had this, and it gave me something good in terms of results as well.
Okay. Okay. So let's talk about you going forward. You applying to all top business schools, and
Not all though, but
a
yeah,
lot, a good chunk of them. And when I see
yeah,
the list over here, let me
yeah,
just. So you basically have Chicago, you have you Booth, you Wharton, Columbia, LBS, Duke, and Stern. I mean, pretty a lot of top B schools
yes,
over
yes,
there, as well as UCLA Anderson, which is tech and marketing focused school as well.
right,
So, uh, so what's and you said that you want to get into marketing and strategy overall.
correct.
So, how did you go about research, or did you do any research about these schools?
See, I was not pretty sure what to do in my post MBA career. I was thinking a lot about it. Initially, I started thinking bottom up approach, that I did this well in my previous times. I enjoyed it well. So connecting to this would be my career goal, and then I will go further with this. But now I'm starting to think top down approach, that what is the long term thing that will keep me happy along
Mm-hmm.
entire life, and then I'll come back to a short term goal, and to the
And that's the right way. You have to think about the long-term goal.
right. So this is how I am going to think now. I'm still not sure whether I'll get into strategy and marketing, or probably because I'm more inclined towards consulting. Since I mean I have an exposure, or professional experience of almost every field that a business would want. For example, I have experience in sales. I have headed operations as well.
Mm-hmm.
Along with that, I have a couple of more uh, profile in business development as well.
Mm-hmm.
The overall experience, I think, would gel well if I get a few more skills, which is including your finance, your marketing, core marketing. Then all these things, if I learn, my
Mm-hmm.
overall profile, I think, would be perfect fit for a consultant, since
Mm-hmm.
there you need an overall thinking. And
Okay, so then I would say add Tuck to the mix.
all right,
So Tuck is, I think, has one of the highest I wouldn't say from a number standpoint, because Tuck's a very small school, but a very high percentage of their class goes into consulting.
consulting.
And the structure of their course is such that during the 2 years that you're there, you actually work as a consultant multiple times, and you get paid to work as a consultant.
Okay.
So, it's a really good school from that standpoint, overall. So, how are you approaching your application?
So I mean, presently I'm talking to a couple of consultants just to finalize one. I know it's difficult for me to do it on my own. Probably I'll need help in the essays. I definitely need, because my career graph is not that straight. I have seen a lot of ups and downs. I left my job. I started a startup in between. Couldn't do well. Stopped it, and then again
It's a very
started working in a
interesting
small.
career graph, I would say.
Hello.
Yep. So I said it's a
Yeah.
very interesting career graph.
Okay. Is it
Yeah.
okay? Is it
Yeah.
interesting? I don't know. I feel it's quite negative in terms of the number of switches I have.
Yes, that's a negative, but there's also, I mean, if you string it well, it could also be interesting.
All
Cur-
right. That's I think I need a consultant.
Hmm.
Help me out.
Okay, so who are you working with right now, or who are you considering?
I spoke to Mr. Rajdeep Chimney here,
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Admissions Gateway. Uh,
Okay.
I spoke to one more person. He's, I mean, Mr. Mateen. He's from Admissions Pitch,
Okay. Admit pitch.
Admit Pitch, yeah.
Yeah.
And also, I sent an email to Applicants Lab, and I've got a response. I think I'll speak to them as well.
You spoke to Maria, basically.
Yes,
You've
yes,
written to
yes.
Maria. Okay. All right. So
Yeah.
are you attending her webinar this Sunday?
I am not aware of that. I didn't
So
recall. Did you
she is
send me an email or something?
no. So you should receive an email from us. So she's conducting the resume webinar. Have you attended that one before by Maria?
No, I am not.
So
I've
so
attended one webinar on. Yeah.
so the webinar is how to craft a winning
Hello.
resume.
Hello.
Yes. Karan, can you hear me?